Hey there, Chitin here. I'm doing my review on the QuickKey app, which is a very useful app if you want to quickly grade a multiple choice summative assessment and then use the data from that to create a formative assessment. Using the data formatively allows us to then adjust our teaching after the summative assessment and maybe reteach some things that the students didn't grasp. I'll start by showing you what you can see when you're looking at the dashboard on the computer. Right now I'm on my QuickKey dashboard, and you can see here that there's a button that says create a student, create a course, and create a quiz. So I'm going to start by creating a course, alright, and I'm going to hit create course to do that. And the course, I'm going to call it period 7, because next time I use this, I'm going to use this for all periods. Today I only used it for periods 1 and 3 because I ran out of time, and it was kind of spur of the moment in terms of getting this ready, and I didn't want to bombard my students with a new technology on the first day of this quiz that they were taking. So you put in here the course number, which in this case isn't relevant, and the description, which isn't relevant either. And then you go down here and you can say save course. Alright? Now, there aren't any students in this course yet, so if I go to students, I can add any of these students, but since none of these students are in my period 7 course, I would go to new student, and it brings you down here where you can add a new student. So I'll add, for my period 7 course, I'll add Erica Hamilton, and her student ID. Now when you do this on the app, the student ID is automatically generated. So I'm not quite sure why it doesn't do that on the computer, but it does that on the app. So at this point, because I know that there are a lot of numbers already there, and I can't have 2 students with the same number, I'm gonna give her the number 0078. Okay? I know that one hasn't been used because so far all of the ones starting with 0 have not gotten to that particular number yet. I'm looking over the students here and I don't see anything with 78 at the end, so I can add that one. So I'm gonna then click on here which course I'm gonna add her to, which is period 7, and then I'm gonna hit create student. So now Erica Hamilton has been added to the course. Her student number is 0078, and that's very important because later on I'll show you why that's important. So after you've added your student, you go to quizzes, and you can see here I've already made 2 quizzes. The ecology quiz period 3 is actually the full-length quiz that periods 3, 7, and 8 took today. Period 1 only took a 5-question quiz. It was the first 5 questions on that particular quiz, and the last 5 were considered bonus points because they ran out of time for the day. However, period 3, 7, and 8, they did the full 10 questions. We had plenty of time to get through it, and then I even had time to scan their quizzes in class and tell them their grades right away, which was pretty cool. The students could see what they got wrong right away. They could see what they needed to improve on right away, which is great. It's a great feedback tool as well as a formative assessment tool. So I'm going to take a look at the quiz here that we administered to period 3 today, and you can see here the answers are listed. For question 1, it's A, 2, C, 3, B, and so on. And then you scroll down here and you see the breakdown question by question of how students answered the question. So 21 students answered the first question correctly with A, and some students picked B. If you continue through, you can see students answered with a variety of answers for each question. So you can see the breakdown. The green indicates that's the correct answer. Now, when you want to add a quiz to your course, you go to courses, and you can say, which one am I going to do here? I'm going to do not period 3, maybe period 7. I have to add something to period 7, right? So I'm going to say edit course, okay? And then down here you have the option to add quizzes. So for period 7, although we didn't use it today, I'm going to add ecology quiz period 3. Even though it says period 3, that quiz is the same for everybody. I may rename it later, but at this point that's the one I'm going to add. And now the student is ready to take the quiz. All they need at this point is this form, which is the bubble sheet that the QuickKey app provides for you. They send you a printout. You print this out. You can make as many copies as you need, and then you cut it in half. It's basically nothing more than a Scantron, and as much as I hate to say it's a glorified Scantron machine, it kind of is. But it has the perk of being able to quickly assemble all that data, and you then can use it formatively. For example, if I go here to reports and go to download report, I can look at this in Excel and I can look at this in CSV. I'm going to look at this in Excel and see what that looks like. This is actually something that I haven't opened it up in Excel yet. I was waiting for this program to download the report from my iPad, and you can see the breakdown of what each student answered, what they got wrong, what they got right, their grade, what they got correct, how many they got correct, and how many they got wrong. It's fantastic. You see the correct answer for each one, and you see in certain circumstances what they answered. So if you have the quiz itself in front of you, then you can use this information to get an idea of what they need to improve on. Okay? I'm going to close that out, get that out of the way. So now that I've showed you all this has to offer on the dashboard, it's barely all it has to offer, but I only have so much time. So I'm going to move on to showing you how the app works. The app is very user-friendly, although I had a little bit of difficulty getting it to work in the first place. Once I figured it out, it became super easy. The difficulty I had involved not knowing that the tutorial required Isaac's name be written there with those 4 bubbles in the space labeled student ID be filled in, and then these bubbles had to be filled in too. I didn't know that because the tutorial didn't make it clear. If you actually go back and look at Support Center, you can go and see the tutorial itself, and if you take a look, I'll stand up and I can make this level and show you here. If you look, here's the tutorial. You swipe through. You swipe through. Here's where it shows you that scan form that you have to fill out, and you don't even realize that it has to look like that because the one that follows doesn't have that writing on it at all. So it just kind of leads you to believe that you line the brackets up with a blank sheet and it should scan properly. So what I tried to do was hold it over a blank sheet, and what I kept getting was this red bar at the bottom, and it never ended up working until I wrote in Isaac and put in the bubbles, and then it automatically scanned it, which was absolutely awesome. I didn't have to click anything. I didn't have to push any buttons. It just scanned it as soon as I hovered over it. It was quick as that, which, you know, after spending a while finicking with it, I finally got it to work. It was very satisfying. So, as I was showing you, see if I can do this because it's backwards. We got classes and students, quizzes, results and reports, recent quiz, and about... that's not what I wanted to do. Recent quiz, about QuickKey, and Support Center. Alright? So, if you want to create a new quiz on the app, you just hit Create Quiz, and create a new quiz, and then you're given the option to enter the correct answer and the number of questions and the correct answer for each of those questions. You can also give the quiz a name, or you can scan an existing quiz. If you've added it on your laptop or your iPad, you're able to scan an existing quiz, and this is cool because you can make it on the iPad, and then when you get home if you don't have Wi-Fi at your school, like my case. If you don't have Wi-Fi at your school like I do, then being able to make the quiz on the iPad and then use the iPad there without the internet and then come home and add it to your computer, it's pretty cool. It would be great if I had Wi-Fi at Wheatland, but I don't. So just using the iPad app is enough until I get home to sync the data up with the computer, which it does pretty much automatically. So you can look at results and reports. You can see here I have the reports and the results from period 1 ecology 1 period and ecology quiz period 3, which was implemented for period 3 and period 1 and period 3 respectively. You can look at the 2 quizzes that I've made. The quiz was the same for everybody, but period 1 only did the first 5 questions, as I said. You can also look at your classes and your students. So there's some on here that I made earlier, and it doesn't appear that they've been deleted yet from here, but I did delete them from the dashboard before I started this presentation. So that should sync up fairly soon, and they'll be gone fairly soon as well. I hope you enjoyed my review. If I had to rate this particular app with a number of stars, I'd give it 3.5. I say that because although it is useful when it comes to taking summative assessment data and using it formatively, it's kind of limited in that you can't exactly use this during class to formatively assess while instructing. It really only allows you to take a summative assessment and then take the data from that summative assessment to be used formatively. So unless you're administering a multiple choice quiz every day, which I hope we aren't, then this app is only useful for the day on which you administer a quiz or an exam. And on top of that, it doesn't really assess anything other than multiple choice questions. So if you have a quiz like I do, I have a quiz for my first week that has multiple choice questions, open answer questions, and diagrams that students have to label. It makes it kind of tough because unless those questions that can't be answered, that can't be scanned by this app, are at the very end of the quiz and are answered on a separate sheet of paper, then it's very difficult for the student to leave gaps or spaces for questions that would be open-ended. So I may, if I were to use this in the future, I may need to rebuild those quizzes or reorganize those quizzes so that the questions that are open-ended, short answer, or diagrams are all at the end, while the multiple choice are all at the beginning. That way I can quickly assess the multiple choice and then start working on the written section or the diagramming section much quicker. So that's my review. I hope you enjoyed the presentation of this awesome technology. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Signing off. Thank you.